Let's bring in Texas Congressman Lance Gooden. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us. So just set the stage for us this morning and tell us about the agencies and services at risk if DHS does in fact shut down with no sign of reopening in sight. How does that impact all of us?
Well, first of all, the ICE agency is not at risk. The big, beautiful bill that we passed last July fully funds and some the ICE operations that Democrats are so angry about. So what they've done is put at risk the TSA funding. No one wants to go to the airport and have to wait hours to get on a plane. They put at risk the air traffic controllers that are showing up to work, but especially TSA. And you know, and I want to mention TSA because when we get to the airport, we see signs that say verbal abuse will not be tolerated. And so you go to the airport and everyone is on their best behavior. Why doesn't that standard apply to ICE agents who are enforcing the law, sometimes in a dangerous position on the streets? That's crazy to me that Democrats are standing against ICE. They're standing against law enforcement after so many years of all this talk that they're pro-law enforcement. But what you'll see if the DHS agency fails to get funded this week are long lines at the airport and no change to enforcement, which is why the White House is willing to work with Democrats in a reasonable way.
Yeah, that's not something anybody wants to hear. This one seems like an obvious one, but you never know. Hope springs eternal. Do you think DHS is going to shut down? And if so, for how long?
Actually, no, I don't think. I think we'll come to an agreement. The White House came back with some of the counter proposals the Democrats are going to talk about in their meeting this morning. You know, one of the things on the Democrat list is body cameras. We don't have a problem with body cameras. Law enforcement that I talk to, no matter where they are, would love to have a record of their enforcement actions. I'd love to see and have clear video of what these anarchists and protesters and insurrectionists are doing out there on the streets. I think body cameras would clear up quite a bit of questions, and Republicans don't have a problem with that.
So there's one other thing that I want to ask you on the list of Democrat demands. It's on the top of the list. It would require that immigration officials obtain a warrant signed by a judge before entering a private home or business. Right now, agents only need an administrative warrant, which they can sign themselves. What would happen to ICE operations if Democrats get their way on this and this one were to come to pass?
Well, I think they'd be slowed down. You know, Republicans are very concerned about freedoms, and we're very reluctant to say you can just storm into anyone's house. But I think if you have a warrant and you're pursuing someone, if they are hiding in a home, then that's a different story. But these are things that we're talking about with Democrats among ourselves on the Republican side. We're very much concerned about constitutional rights of legal American citizens, and we also want this law enforced. We want the American people's desire to have their borders secure and illegals shipped out of this nation fulfilled. That's what President Trump campaigned on in the last election. He made no secrets about it. He said, if you elect me, I'm going to ship these illegals out of the country. That's what he's doing. And now Democrats don't like that we are making good on the promises that we made to voters.
And finally, really quickly, want to squeeze this one in because Attorney General Pam Bondi is set to testify tomorrow before the House Judiciary Committee, of which you sit on. So what are your expectations for this hearing tomorrow, and what do you hope to learn?
My expectations are that Democrats will make fools of themselves. They'll focus on Epstein. They won't talk about the fraud in Minnesota that Americans are very upset about. They'll criticize ICE operations. They'll be reluctant to acknowledge that we now have a DOJ that enforces the law, that's fair, that's doing what the Biden administration DOJ refused to do, that they are taking an active part in ensuring that Americans are here legally and that those people who came into our country illegally are shipped out, that the criminals are gone, that laws are followed and enforced, and that there is fair and balanced justice for all. Democrats don't want to acknowledge that, but Pam Bondi is doing a great job, and she has the president's support and the American people's as well.
Texas Congressman Lance Gooden, we appreciate your time and insight as always. We thank you for joining us.